The Premier League and the Championship have stopped because of the World Cup that starts tomorrow. Is it possible the League One can have a break as well? Because I do not want to watch us throughout this period if we're playing like that, and we're going to continue to play like that today. It finished at Vale Park today, if that is the name of their stadium. Port Vale 1, Charlton Athletic 0. Seen a lot of Charlton fans on Twitter say that that is the worst performance of the season, and to be honest with you, it's hard to disagree with that after that display. Dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Just awful. I don't know how else to describe it, really. Absolutely abysmal from start to finish. Attackers were non-existent and didn't get anything in the game. Defensively, a shambles. Passing was abysmal. Crossing was awful all game. And we apparently had one shot on target, and I'm struggling to even remember what that shot on target was. Had all of the ball again, which is to be expected. But that possession was just from us playing sideways, backwards, sideways, backwards, because we wouldn't move for each other. We looked lethargic, slow, didn't want to challenge them, didn't want to go towards them when they were pushing in the midfield. Didn't want to stick a foot out. It looked as if we hadn't played a game of football in about 6 months. And we played last week against Burton Albion. Shocking. It's hard to disagree with the statement of that is the worst performance of the season. It's definitely up there for sure. Absolutely awful. And full credit to Port Vale, we have to say. They defended really well. They kept us at bay. Defended well. Didn't think they were all that attackingly. After all, they only had one shot on target as well from 13 shots, and their only shot on target was the goal that they scored that won them the game. Nevertheless, a deserved victory. They defended well, fair play, well done, deserved the victory. I can't really describe it any other way. And I've seen a few people on social media again calling out the manager, Ben Garner. And I'm going to say it again. I think I said it in the previous video. I may have said it. If I haven't said it, allow me to get my message across. I do not blame Ben Garner at all. He is 100% not the problem. I fully stand by him, 100% support him. Because ultimately, I think we all know where the true problem lies. Garner has not exactly been dealt a good hand since coming to this club. He's not got the full picture. He's not been backed correctly. He doesn't have the full squad. He was sold a dream, and he has not, as I say, he's just not been dealt a good hand. There could perhaps be some things to question, but nothing to suggest that he should be sacked. And I think we need to move away from that era. We need to stop blaming managers for our wrongdoing, because ultimately he has not been backed correctly. And to be brutally honest with you, the position that we are in the league right now, 14th, is probably an accurate representation of our season and this squad. Whenever we win a game, especially when we was on that run, when we won 3 in a row, I was saying, hopefully this is us going on a run now. Hopefully this is us kicking on. I wasn't saying that, we're going to go on and get the playoffs and we're going to win the league, but it was just a case of us needing to keep on that momentum. And sadly, we're just not consistent enough. We're now 4 games without a win again, and we've just put in arguably the worst performance of the season. And like I say, 14th, maybe it is an accurate representation of where the squad is. Yes, there are injuries in the squad, which we do have to take into account. We're missing Miles Leaburn, who's been a shining light this season. Owen O'Connell and Mandela Egbo are already proving to be massive losses in the defensive line. And then our 2 first-choice goalkeepers, Wallacott and McGillivray, are both injured. The former probably being more of a loss than the latter. Injuries we do have to take into account, but sadly, this squad, at the moment, this is probably where it deserves to be. Couple changes made from the Burton game, the most notable one being in goal. It was a full league debut for Australian shot stopper Ashley Maynard-Brewer, finally getting his chance in the league after 3 or 4 years of waiting for his chance. He's been hyped up massively by the club and fans for a number of years, and he's never really been given a shot. In the cup games I've seen him play over the years, I have liked the look of him, and I definitely think there was a player there. Obviously was on loan at Ross County last season, where he played fairly well in 17 appearances. Was supposed to be spending the season with Gillingham this year, but of course dislocated his shoulder in pre-season, and he come back to us to keep fit, has played a couple under-21s games, and we've decided to recall him, understandably, with McGillivray and Wallacott both being out injured. And I was really happy for Maynard-Brewer. I was really, really happy for him to get a go today and to show what he can do and whether he could prove the hype that is around him. So yeah, really happy to see him get a start today. Back four, Sean Clare, Sam Lavelle, Ryan Inniss and Stephen Sessegnon. Midfield four, Jesurun Rak-Sakyi, Jules Dobson, Scott Fraser and Corey Blackett-Taylor. And the front two was Jayden Stockley and Charlie Kirk. Probably, well, not probably, it is the strongest 11 that we can field right now. There's definitely some arguments to be had after that performance from a couple of players after that performance. But yeah, like I say, probably the strongest 11 that we could field. Port Vale, obviously, have done fairly well this season since coming up from League Two. Got smashed last time out against Oxford 4-0, so was quietly optimistic. I did say before the game we'd win 2-0 and Maynard-Brewer would keep a clean sheet, and that was far from that today as we now go into the game. And I'm probably going to spend as little time talking about it because, to be honest with you, there ain't a lot to talk about. There's barely any chances to really talk about or any notable opportunities. I'm mainly just going to focus on how abysmal our performance was. First half, I missed the first 2 minutes, actually, to be fair, while trying to switch the channels on my Fire Stick. That's how I watch the games. And we did have one decent opportunity from a corner. I think it was it Kirk? I'm not entirely sure. Had a shot at the keeper, which was blocked. And that was probably the closest we came to goal in the entire first half. Like I said in the intro, we were just, I don't know. It just felt like we hadn't played a game in ages. Like we were just jogging about the pitch. Like we looked knackered from the off. You know, like we were just, I don't know what it was. Like the middle of the park had so much space because we just would not go towards them. It just looked so lethargic and slow and just a lack of effort. We didn't look arsed, you know, we just didn't want to go towards them. And like I said in the intro again, our passing was dreadful and our crosses were awful throughout the entire game, you know. Dobson misplaced a fair few passes. You know, we were just spraying balls long and they just wouldn't go anywhere. We're trying to put balls in the box to Stockley. Kirk kept coming over to his natural position on the left-hand side along with Blackett-Taylor. So Stockley was our lone striker and he's the only one in the box with 3 white shirts in the box. And it's obvious what we're trying to do. And then when that doesn't backfire, we go backwards, sideways, backwards. Lavelle and Inniss probably had the most amount of passes and touches of the ball in the entire first half or even the game itself. Because we just didn't move for each other and we couldn't get attacks going. We're just passing it about the place and couldn't make inroads. You know, it was just so frustrating to watch. And I'm struggling to even note a seriously dangerous opportunity from either side because realistically, Jack Stevens, I think their keeper's name is, and Ashley Maynard-Brewer, neither of them are really tested. Not just in the first half, but throughout the game. I don't think either of them really had a save to make. I think Stevens made one towards the end of the game, but again, both keepers were just fairly untested and half-time 0-0, just shocking. Like I say, just absolutely shocking. And then the second half, I was fully expecting us to make changes from the off and we just didn't. And it just didn't get any better. You know, we didn't, I was just about to say there, we didn't get into second gear. I don't think we even got into first gear throughout the game. We were just absolutely abysmal. And unsurprisingly, Port Vale took the lead through Danny Butterworth, a pretty good goal, to be fair for him, a fairly good finish, but absolutely awful defending. David Worrell sprays a long ball forward, ball bounces, Dobson, you know, Butterworth gets the better out of him and Lavelle and Inniss are coming over and Butterworth just glides past all 3 of them like they're not even there and just sticks it in the bottom corner. Easy, simple finish. Good finish from Butterworth, but an absolutely shocking case of our defending. And another example of that, you know, we saw it last week against Burton Albion. Apologies for not doing a match reaction on that game, but that game showed that we could score goals, but showed how weak our defence is with the injuries, you know, with the centre-back pairing of Lavelle and Inniss. Both of them were shocking today. Lavelle has been scolded a lot this season, particularly the last couple of weeks on social media saying, oh, he's the worst defender in our history, which of course is a very strong and reactionary statement. But he has been dreadful this season. A far cry from what I thought he was going to be this season and a far cry from what he was last year. And Inniss was just standard Inniss, really, just a liability, you know, making stupid mistakes. You know, he looked, like I say, just absolutely knackered and, of course, got himself a yellow card, which is the standard Inniss, you know, just liability Inniss, really. But that game today was another accurate representation of how terrible our defence is and the fact that our attack just couldn't get through. You know, last week we scored 3 goals, Kirk getting 2 goals in form going into this game and he was non-existent. It's just, I don't know, man, just attackingly we just couldn't get anything going. You know, our players were just so non-existent. After the first goal went in, Stockley was replaced by Chuks Aneke. I've said it so many times in the previous videos, like Stockley, I don't know why we persist with him. I don't know why we keep playing it, and I'm tired of saying it now. It's just getting stupid at this point. The guy's offered nothing all season, really. Yeah, I don't know why we're sticking with him. It's just, I've seen a couple of people say, oh, he's not getting the service. He's offered nothing all season. We're almost in December and the guy's got 2 goals in League One. He is a far cry from what he was last season. I think I said it from the start of the season. I don't think he's a Garner player. He doesn't fit the system we're trying to play. He just doesn't offer anything. And we bring on Chuks Aneke and he has a shot on goal. Yes, he fires over the bar 6 minutes after coming on, but by having that shot, he done more in 6 minutes coming off the bench than Stockley did in the 58 minutes he played. I don't know why we persist with him. Why don't we start with Aneke and attack from the off, then potentially think about bringing on Stockley? When Aneke comes on, he makes an impact. He makes way more of an impact than Stockley does. And Stockley gets an hour or even more every single game. The attackers in general just couldn't get anything going. Kirk, non-existent. Blackett-Taylor, shocking. Another example of how inconsistent he is. Rak-Sakyi's first touches were very poor today and lost possession a lot. Although he did have a very good opportunity towards the end of the game where he latched onto a long ball. I don't know how he got there to start with. The fact that he got onto that ball was brilliant in itself. But then to beat the defender and then to put a ball into the box was brilliant from him. It was really, really good. He maybe could have had a shot and fired towards the far post, but in the end he tried to play it back across to Chuks Aneke. But nevertheless, he done really well there. But that's probably the only thing I can really give plaudits to Rak-Sakyi for, because again, he was ineffective today, unfortunately. Fraser did not have a good game. He did not want a challenge in the midfield. You know, I think the only 2 players I can really give plaudits to this game is Dobson and Sessegnon. Dobson was the typical thing. Yes, he misplaced a couple of passes, but he got stuck in. And that is what I like from Dobson, and that is why he is our best player. And then Sessegnon, I thought he had a good game today as well. His crossing was dreadful, but you know, he was making interceptions. He was running forward a couple of times on the left-hand side, darting past a couple of players. He did that really well, and I will give him plaudits for that. But we were just dreadful and we just could not get going. And we made a triple substitution. Kirk, Blackett-Taylor, and who was the other one that came off? Fraser were replaced by Jack Payne, Tyreece Campbell, and Jake Forster-Caskey. That's the first time actually I've seen Forster-Caskey play in the league. So I'm actually glad that he's getting onto the bench regularly and he's actually coming off the bench and getting minutes, because I think, to be honest with you, I think how he's not been involved in the team this season is criminal. And he had a fairly good cameo today. I felt he got stuck in, you know, he was trying to pass the ball. It was an okay cameo, I think we have to say. And Payne, you know, had our only shot on target really in the 89th minute, fired a shot, which the keeper saved. Rak-Sakyi tried to play it across. I think Campbell tried to have a swing at it and it fell to Payne and he's had a shot and the keeper managed to just about get an hand to it, which went over the bar. Campbell was all right when he came on, and then the final change was Sam Lavelle coming off. Albie Morgan came on, so we went attacking, but Morgan kind of, well, I think he did. Morgan come on as a centre-back, but obviously pushed forward. And again, I felt Morgan had a pretty good cameo as well when he came on, but ultimately we just never really got going. We didn't deserve anything. It is probably the worst performance of the season. Full-time, Port Vale 1, Charlton 0. It's just not good enough. It is just not good enough at all. We cannot be putting in performances like that if we're supposed to be challenging for the playoffs. I've said it a few times this season. I think injuries definitely have to be taken into account. I don't think they can be ignored. Like I say, Egbo and O'Connell definitely proving big losses. Inniss liability, Lavelle shocking. I think, to be honest with you, after that performance, I think Jayden must be sitting on the bench and looking at Garner like, come on. Like, I would much rather have him in the team at this point in time. We're just not consistent enough. You know, defensively, shocking. Midfield didn't want to move for each other and didn't want to challenge and, you know, get stuck in and try and move for each other and create something. Wingers were ineffective. Strikers had nothing. You know, and it takes us for us to go behind for us to make a change. That's probably the thing I can criticise Garner for. The fact he took too long to make changes. Why does it take us to go 1-0 down for Aneke to come on? He shouldn't even have to come off the bench. He should be starting over Stockley. And then with 15 minutes to go, we make the triple change. Should have happened ages ago. And to be fair, I think all 5 substitutes probably had a good impact, to be honest with you, or an okay impact. Good's probably a too kind of a word, but look, man, we just need to improve. The biggest problem is Garner has not been backed correctly, and I don't even think he'll be backed correctly in January. I think the most thing we'll be signing in January is loans until the summer. Oh yeah, great, that's going to help us, isn't it? And we're left with another rebuild process in the summer where multiple players will end up leaving because of our shocking league position. But anyway, I'm going to end this video now. I'm not sure when our next game is. I think it is Cheltenham at home for the 30th anniversary of the Vale. Not sure if I'm going to that yet. Need to figure that out. Thank you for watching this match reaction. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, can you possibly leave a like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, turn on post notifications so you're notified of every time I upload a new video. What do you think of the game? Let me know in the comments below. This has been Tyler Rollinson. Have a nice day, and I will see you all in the next video. Take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you all later. And let's just hope that England can put in more inspiring performances than these bunch of useless prats at the moment. Thank you for watching again, guys. See you later.